In a shocking escalation of global tensions, Russia has launched a powerful and unexpected strike on Ukraine, just hours after the cancellation of the planned second summit between U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin. The attack, which targeted civilian areas, included a devastating strike on a kindergarten where children were present, sparking international outrage and condemnation. Footage from the scene shows smoke rising from the building as emergency workers rush to rescue trapped civilians. Ukrainian authorities report multiple casualties, with several children among the injured. The assault marks one of the most aggressive actions by Russia since the early stages of the war, signaling a chilling message to the international community. The White House responded swiftly, announcing a new round of sanctions aimed at key Russian sectors, including defense, banking, and energy. President Trump condemned the attack, calling it a cowardly act against innocent civilians. He emphasized that the United States will not tolerate such brutality, confirming that talks with Moscow are officially suspended indefinitely. The European Union and NATO allies have echoed the condemnation, urging Russia to halt all offensive operations immediately. NATO has also called for an emergency meeting to discuss potential collective responses to the latest aggression. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres expressed deep concern, calling for the protection of civilians and demanding accountability for the assault. Global markets reacted sharply, with oil prices surging and investors seeking safe haven assets amid renewed geopolitical fears. Diplomatic sources indicate that back-channel communication between Moscow and Washington has broken down completely. The attack on the kindergarten has become a symbol of the war's cruelty, reigniting international debate about war crimes and justice. Human rights groups have already begun documenting evidence for potential prosecution at The Hague. Eyewitnesses described scenes of chaos, shattered glass, crying children, and smoke filling the air. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky vowed that his nation will not be intimidated, promising retaliation in proportion and in defense. Reports suggest that the Russian strike may have been a response to recent U.S. statements supporting Ukraine's sovereignty and security guarantees. Analysts say the timing of the assault, just after the cancelled summit, was deliberate and meant to project defiance toward Washington. Military experts believe Russia is testing the West's resolve, gauging whether new sanctions will replace direct intervention. The White House's new sanctions package includes strict export controls and asset freezes targeting top Kremlin officials. Meanwhile, European leaders are discussing coordinated responses, including tighter restrictions on Russian oil imports. Protests have erupted in major cities around the world, from Berlin to New York, demanding stronger action against Russia. Social media platforms have been flooded with images and videos from the attack site, intensifying global outrage. Humanitarian organizations are calling for immediate assistance to affected Ukrainian families, especially children. In Kyiv, citizens gathered in solidarity, lighting candles for the victims of the kindergarten strike. The incident has reignited fears of a wider regional conflict, with NATO members increasing surveillance along Eastern Europe. Russia, for its part, maintains that the attack was a defensive measure, a claim that global leaders have rejected outright. The Kremlin insists it is responding to Western interference, further deepening diplomatic isolation. Observers warn that the world is entering one of its most dangerous periods of geopolitical instability in years. Energy analysts predict rising gas prices and potential disruptions in supply chains across Europe. The G7 nations are expected to hold an emergency session to coordinate further economic and political responses. In Washington, bipartisan lawmakers are urging tougher measures, including restrictions on Russian access to global financial systems. The Pentagon has increased monitoring of Russian troop movements near Ukraine's eastern border. Satellite imagery confirms intensified air activity and artillery deployments in several contested regions. International organizations are mobilizing relief efforts, sending medical teams and emergency supplies to Ukraine. The global community watches anxiously as diplomatic tensions continue to spiral. World leaders are urging restraint but preparing for the worst. The attack on innocent children has become a rallying point for international condemnation. It underscores the brutal reality that peace remains distant and fragile. Global citizens are uniting in their calls for justice, accountability, and peace. As the dust settles over the kindergarten ruins, the world stands witness to yet another tragic chapter in the ongoing war. The echoes of this strike will likely shape global diplomacy for months to come. World Pulse News, where the world speaks.